Dear students, welcome back to the online sessions. So in the previous sessions, we have completed with two interfacing circuits, programming with two interfacing devices called as LCD and a keyboard. Now in this today's session, what we do is we'll try to connect keyboard as well as LCD to the 8051 microcontroller. And I just wanted to give you a basic block diagram which we have discussed in the previous sessions. So for LCD, we have used port P1 for input and output ports. P1 has been used as an input as well as output ports. Basically P1 using LCD is normally used to display some data. So here in this particular thing, we are going to use P1 going to be the output port, where always we send some data or a command to the LCD display. So port P1 has been used to transfer data from microcontroller to the LCD display unit. This is what we had the port 1. And 3 bits of port 2 has been used for the controlling operations. So if at all we wanted to transfer the command, then we are going to use RS equal to 0. If at all you want to transmit data, then we are going to use RS equal to 1. So if you are going to write data into the LCD, if you're going to write data into LCD, this W should be equal to 1. So if you're going to write data, W should be equal to 0. And if you're going to read data from LCD, R should be equal to 1. That means it's going to be based on those 2 bits we normally programmed here. And enable pin is normally used to, that means the data to be placed into the LCD when the pulse is going from high to low in the enable pin. Whenever the pulse goes from high to low, then the data will be written into the LCD. Similarly, when the pulse is going from high to low, then the data will be read from the LCD. So here our basic operation is to program LCD to display. So here to program, where as we are programming LCD to display unit only, as a display unit only, we connect this R by W to the ground directly. Thereby we can save one pin. If you know already that the LCD is used only for display purpose. So here we will be using LCD only for display purpose. Since we know beforehand that LCD is only used for display purpose, always this should be connected to the ground. So therefore I can connect directly this to the ground. That means R by W pin can be directly connected to the ground. If I do so, then what happens? I can save this pin P2.1. I can use it for some other applications. So this is what the thing which we're going to have, which we have understood in the previous session of the LCD. So the next one is going to be keypad interface. So let us see the diagram of the keypad interface now. So in the previous sessions, we discussed about keypad interfacing, where these two are the 8051 microcontroller ports. This is taken as port 1, this is taken as port 2. So these two ports, the pins on these two ports are used and they are connected to the keypad interfacing device. Okay. So in this case, what we can have is like this port 1 we have used, as an output port, because the data which is coming to the port 1, that means row bits, are being taken from the have been taken from the lookup table. So we have performed this by using lookup table. That means we have predefined or assumed the values which are going to be there on the rows, so that we have chosen from the lookup table. So we have chosen those things from the lookup table. So that is why I just took this as a output port. Otherwise, if your data is coming from some other source, then you can keep, that means this can be called as an input port. That means port 1 and port 2 can be called as input ports. No problem in that. So because whatever data that means output port means whatever data which is there on these pins is used as output data. Input port means what? The data which is there on the keyboard will be coming into the port 2. So that is what going to be called as input port. Okay. That means the port 2 is going to read data from the keypad, and also port 1 can also be can also use it to read the data. So you can either way program this particular keyboard. That means it is going to be in our hands. And how do we normally program the keypad interfacing device, right? So in the today's session, what we do is we have to use the available resources that are there in the 8051 microcontroller. So we already know that 8051 microcontroller is going to have 4 ports: port 0, port 1, port 2, and port 3. Port 3 is normally meant for special applications such as the interrupt applications, such as the serial communication applications, such as timer applications. So in order to perform such special applications, we use those port 3 pins as a control signals. Therefore, port 3 is actually reserved to perform the special operations. Therefore, we don't touch port 3 to perform input output operations. So if at all we want to perform input output operations, try to use port 0, port 1, and port 2. So that is going to be a better bit for us to really program, because it is not only that we are going to interface the keyboard and LCD. We will be continuously doing some communication serially with respect to the from microcontroller into the microcontroller. That means we may want to perform other than connecting only LCD and the keypad. So we will be performing communicating serially with the microcontroller continuously. Or we may want to perform some timer applications. We may want to perform some applications regarding the interrupt signals. So even after keypad and the keyboard is really connected. So in that case, we have to compulsorily reserve that P3 port for the special applications. That means apart from keypad and the display. So let us start going with interfacing all these three in the today's session now. Okay. Now in the earlier sessions, we have interfaced keypad to the 8051 only, and we have interfaced LCD to the 8051. Now in today's session, what we do is we are going to interface keypad and LCD with the 8051 microcontroller. That means what is our application now? Whatever we press using the keypad should be displayed onto the LCD display. That is the application. That's it. So keypad, just now we have seen keypad is going to have around a 4x4 matrix it was. So 16 characters can be placed onto the keypad. So that means among the 16 characters, whichever character is really pressed, that has to be really displayed onto the LCD display unit. That is what our application, that is what it's called a real-time application. So what I have to do now actually, I have to simply merge the programs that I have used for keypad as well as for LCD display. Okay, that's all. So that means before we normally do the program, what is so important is that, because it is not just only two ports we are going to use. We are going to use 3 ports here. Since we are using 3 ports, so it is always better for us to really understand some more important concepts to write a program for such kind of a real-time application. Now, upon reset of a microcontroller, what are that which is going to happen inside the microcontroller, we have to know. That means the stack pointer will be at a position 07. Port 0 to port 3 will be having all FFH. That means all of them are going to be active high. So all the pins are going to be in the active high mode. That means all the ports can be acts as the input ports, simple input ports. Now program counter DPTR values will be all zeros. Initially they will be at 0 position. Contents of accumulator will be 0. Contents of B register will be 0. Contents of the program status word is also equal to 0. So these are all the various conditions of the registers once you press the reset button onto the microcontroller. So because to start with this application, first of all, you have to start by pressing the reset button on the microcontroller. So once you press reset button on the microcontroller, the status of the registers are going to be like this. So we should know this to some extent. So now all ports upon reset are configured as input ports. Now all ports means what? Especially as I was mentioning to you that all ports means P0 to P3. But P3 is reserved for special applications. That is the secondary part. But in general, all the ports will be configured as the input ports as and when we reset the microcontroller. Then next is what now? The ports P0, P1 and P2 can be used as simple input and output ports. While port 0 will be operated by the ALE, address latch enable pin, just like how it is with the 8086 microcontroller. So we can use this ALE pin to multiplex and demultiplex address and data lines. That means here P0 can the P0 is, see, all the ports are going to be of 8 bits only, because 8051 microcontroller is 8-bit microcontroller. So all the pins will be of 8 bits. So therefore, that means here this P0 bits could be written as equal to AD0 to AD7. So what does it mean now? It is having the address as well as data. That therefore I can call this as multiplexed address and data bus lines. So these lines are known as the P0 lines, can be called as multiplexed address and data bus lines. So these are particularly used whenever ALE pin is normally used whenever we are going to connect an external memory with the 8051 microcontroller. Then we normally going to use this particular ALE pin. Otherwise, we don't bother about the ALE pin at all. Okay. So directly we are going to connect these port pins to the required devices. That means whenever we wanted to have an extensibility, that means whenever you wanted to extend the capability, of memory of a microcontroller, in that particular context only, we are going to use this particular ALE pin, because ALE pin is normally used in the context of connecting the external memory to the microcontroller. That means it is something like, called of extensibility kind of a concept. So therefore, until and unless we don't use, but still let us see how the ALE pin is going to work. If ALE is equal to 0, then all the bits on the ALE will be called as a data lines. If ALE is equal to 1, all the values on the port 0 is going to be called as lower order address bus lines. That can be enabled by using a latch 74373 LS latch we are going to use. So using this latch is going to contain D flip-flops. So how many bits I'm going to have? P0.7 to P0.0. That means there are 8 port 0 lines. So therefore you're going to use 8 D flip-flops. Now the port outputs are connected. The port outputs are connected to the latch. So using this latch, we're going to multiplex and demultiplex address and data buses. So if ALE is equal to 1, this latch is going to get enabled. Once this latch is going to get enabled, the bits on the P0 to P7 is known as the address bits, lower order address bits. That means these lines are going to get latched by this particular latch, and consider them to be as the lower order address bus lines, and considered as the lower order address bus lines. And the rest of the, if at all you are dealing with 16-bit data transfers, then in that case, we need to have 8 more address pins. These 8 more address pins can be used from the port 2. Port 2 can be used as a higher order address bus lines, but here in this program, we are not using any external memory to interface. Therefore, we are not just looking into that, but it is only for understanding purpose of port 0, working of port 0 in general. I am just simply giving you all this. Okay. So if ALE pin is 0, 0 means what? It is not enabled. Latch is not enabled. This is a latch. The latch contains D flip-flop. This latch is not enabled. As this latch is not enabled, whatever data which is there on the pins P0 to P7 on the port 0 are all going to be considered as the data bits. That is D0 to D7, called as data bus lines. So this is what the basic working of the port 0 especially. The next another point which is very much important for us to understand, because we have another topic called serial communication. So for serial communication, we're going to use port 3 continuously. All the time we use port 3 to enable the serial communication. So therefore, we should know what is port 3. So port 3 is used for interrupts as well as other signals such as transmit, receive, okay, external interrupt 0, external interrupt 1. So all these are other signals. So port 3 should be reserved for interrupts and serial communications. So this is what I was talking to you. Port 3 should be reserved for interrupts and serial communications, even though it can be used as input port upon reset. Upon reset, it will be initialized as input port. All the ports are initialized as input ports just by default upon reset. This is what important points which we use in this program. Okay, without doing anything, after reset, we simply going to consider initially all the ports as the input ports. That means the ports which we connect to the keypad going to be of input ports, because whatever we press on any one of the key, now the two ports which are connected to the keys of the keys of the keypad should be read from the keypad. That means the data should read from the keypad. Therefore, the 8051 port should act as a input port for us in this particular important context. So in this context, I can just simply go with this, like go ahead like this here. So P3 pins are described as below. As I was talking to you, P3 is normally performed for special applications. It is meant to perform special applications to support serial communication, external interrupts, timers, read write, control signals. That means when in case whenever we are going to deal with external memory, I want to write some data into the external memory, I'm going to use WR pin. Whenever I want to read some data from external memory, I'm going to use RD bar. That means using this port 3, I'm going to perform this operation. That means using port 3, we send the control signals to the external memories. And apart from this, in order to perform serial communication, we use RxD, TXD. RxD means what? Receive data. TXD means transmit data. So remember here in this order P3.0, because the P3.0 to 3.7 pins you have to remember compulsorily. This is what one more problem we have, because each and every pin has got its own important working. So since every pin has got its own important working, you should know each and every pin in port 3. Other ports you need not bother, from port 0 to port 2 you need not bother much, but here every pin you should know its basic importance or its basic working. So port P P3.0 is used for RxD. You should not interchange RxD with TXD, because P3.2 is going to perform only as RxD. P3.1 is going to perform only as TXD. Similarly, P3.2, 3.4, 3.2, 3.3 are used for interrupt 0, interrupt 1. So these two are known as external interrupts. These two are known as external interrupts. Then port P3.4, 3.5 are the two internal timers, T0 and T1. And these two, port 3.6, 3.7 are going to be used for write and read operations. Write and read operations. Okay. So these are the things which are important. Now to start with, always the port P3.0 starts with receiving data from the external peripheral. So here the microcontroller is a very fast device, whereas memory is normally going to be a slow device. Therefore, microcontroller will be very much fast enough to receive the data first than giving importance to transmission. So therefore, probably the receiver pin has given the first priority, then transmission pin. Then obviously interrupt 0 is first priority, interrupt 1 is second priority kind of thing here. Similarly T0, T1, and here also WR bar, writing data into the memory is a important task for us. So therefore, we normally going to, because microcontrollers internal memory is going to be very small. We have just seen that 128 bytes of RAM has been used to store the data for internal operations. So 128 bytes is a very small memory for 8051 microcontroller. So therefore, reading from external memory needs a very huge amount of memory inside this microcontroller, which is not there. So therefore, usually what is most important thing is writing is important. Therefore, the first preference is given to writing data and into the external memory, then later on reading data from the external memory has been given. So like this we can remember the various port pin numbers, and the pin numbers are going to be 10 to 17 in serial, so you can remember them very easily. Okay, so please remember port 3.0 is the 10th pin, so on in an ascending order. If you see, the pin numbers are also going to increase in ascending order, so you can remember this port 3 very easily in this particular logic. So using this logic you can remember, see, this is what the logic I made by myself, so that you can remember the pins very easily. Okay, anyway, so now port 3.0 is the receive pin, port 3.1 is transmit data pin. So here these two are used for serial communication. That means using this port 3.0, if at all we want to receive some data serially, we have to receive only from P3.0. You cannot receive serial data from P3.4 or 3.5. You have to receive data only from P3.0, because that is reserved for receiving data serially. So according to this, all these pins are reserved for the specific operations. So you have to use these pins only for those specific operations that it has been reserved for. So you really cannot interchange one pin with other operations. So that's not there. So therefore, that is the reason why you should know all these pins specifically. So try to mug up these pins, so that if any question is asked in this port 3, you can easily write the pin diagram of port 3 and you can write down the functionalities of the port 3 very comfortably. So therefore, please mug up this port 3. Very important concept, port 3. Now, in our application, what we are doing, that is what the point of discussion here for us. So what exactly we are doing here? So we are interfacing keypad or keyboard and LCD. In our program, we are interfacing keypad and LCD to the microcontroller. So here, what is this keypad ports? That is important now. So we have 3 ports. In general, we have 4 ports, port 0 to port 3, port 0, port 1, port 2, port 3, we have 4 ports. But port 3 is reserved for some specific specialized operations. So therefore, we are not going to touch port 3 at all. We touch port 3 only for the intended operations, which has been suggested for. So port 3 utilization of the pins is a suggestion. If at all you want to follow that, it is up to you, or not to follow that, it is up to you. So you cannot really, you need not, it doesn't mean that you don't want to use this port 3 as an input port, or so as an input port or output port. So you can use this as an input as well as output port, but we never use that. We use the port 3 only for the specialized operations. So let us leave it like that. So therefore, I am not touching port 3 in order to interface keypad and LCD to the microcontroller. So I am using only port 2, port 0 and port 1. So to interface keypad, in the earlier problem, when we interfaced keypad with the microcontroller, we have used port 2 as the input port and we have used port 1 as the output port. Port 2 as the input port. That means whenever a particular key is pressed, whenever a particular key is pressed, the column matrix, the column value will be inputted into the microcontroller. And port P1 is normally used as output port. It is the values on the output port will be coming from the microcontroller. Okay. Other way around, we can use both of them as the input ports. So in our program, So similarly, if at all I want to use, I can do it like this, or other means also I can say I'll be using port 0 as input port. Okay, and port 2 I'm using it in the program as output port, as input ports. That means both the ports I'm using as input ports, because my application is whenever I press a key, immediately that key has to be displayed onto the LCD display unit. So that is my program. So therefore, I am considering port 2 as input port and port 0 as the input port. Now thing is that here, the port 2 of higher order pins are used as input port pins, because port 2 lower order pins I am used for the command instructions, command control instructions for the LCD display, like RS, W by WR bar, W by R, and ES pins are there. So to really use those pins, I reserve port 2. You may ask a question, sir, can't we use port 3 to reserve those pins? Yes, you can use port 3 to reserve those pins. Nobody will stop you. So if your application only sticking to a keypad and the LCD only, then you can able to use port 3, no problem. But your application, if you want your application to support keypad, LCD, and serial communication, interrupts, timers also, you want to really utilize controlling operations done by timers also you want to do. You want external interrupt signals to handle, you want serial communication to handle simultaneously along with the keypad and the monitor display connected to the microcontroller. Then in that case you cannot use the port 3. So it is all depending on the application how we have. So that is the reason why on a safe side base, I'm not using port 3 at all. It doesn't mean that you cannot use port 3. You can use port 3, no problem here. But I am not using, because the purpose of port 3 is specific operations or special purpose operations. That is the purpose. So I'm using port 3 only for that purpose. So in the code that I'm going to write it here now, the port 2 higher order bits I'm going to use as input ports, just like the previous one. And in the previous one, I have port 1 as output port. So I may use port 0 lower order bits. I may use port 0 higher order bits. I'm not using, because only 4 pins of the port I'm going to use. So I can use, I'll be use, if at all you're going to take the data from the, uh, you know, if at all now here, this also I'm going to use as the input port. So if at all I'm going to use this as output port, means the data that I'm going to have is simply taken from the, what is that, lookup table. So next one is going to be LCD. So to interface LCD, port P1 is used as input as well as output port. But for LCD, I'm going to use P1 as only output port. Not going to use this as input port, because I'm not going to read any data from LCD. If at all you want to read any data from LCD, then I can use P1 as input also. But in our program, I'm using P1 only as output port. So this is another important point. That we can really consider. Okay, so next ports are going to be now port 2.0, port 2.1, port 2.2 is normally used in our program. Let us try to see the interfacing diagram. We'll try to see the interfacing diagram of this. So this is 8051 microcontroller, and these are the same 8051 microcontroller ports. So only for simplification purpose I have drawn like this, just not to get confused. Okay, or otherwise if I draw, you can just go with something like this. 8051 microcontroller is normally connected to keypad as well as to the LCD display unit. Okay. So keypad input is coming from external source. That means a human being is normally going to press one of the switch which is there on the keypad. So after he presses, then the program is normally going to get executed. Right. So how is that interfacing? We'll try to see now. Very important concept. This is how we are doing with, how we are managing with interfacing. See, 805 microcontroller is interfaced with the LCD. So this is LCD display. Port 2.0 is connected to RS pin. 2.1 is connected to port 2.1 is connected to R by W pin. Port 2 is connected to the enable pin. And ports P1 to P1 0th bit to P1 7th bit is connected to the internal data bits of the LCD display unit. Then next, I'm going to have port to higher order bits. Port to order bits I'm using for controlling the LCD display, and port to higher order bits I'm going to use for the keypad, and port 0 lower order bits I'm going to use it for the keypad. See the changes that I'm doing here, and here this order is going to be D0, D1, D2, D3. Here the order is going to be D0, D1, D2, D3. So this is the order I'm going to have. That means the user may press any key which is going to be a switch connected between these two. Switch may be here between these two, maybe these two, like how we are connected this. So everywhere we are going to have the switch, which is going to connect the column and the row. Like this, all the switches are placed. That means here I'm going to have four ports here, P0, 4 ports for P2. So it's going to be 4 into 4, 16. So I can get simply 16 different characters. Now in this program, I'm considering both of them going to be the input ports. That means as when a particular key is pressed, the data will be stored, or data will be read from the port to higher order pins and port 0 lower order pins. So we're going to execute the program based on this particular logic, right? Right now, don't confuse here this P0.0 to P0.3 are from the 804 microcontroller is only going to be one. Here it is. Microcontroller is only one microcontroller. So I'm just using the ports of the microcontroller to connect to the keypad and to connect to the display unit. Like this I'm going to use. So that means this 804 microcontroller is going to have port P0.0 to 0.3 and also port 2.4 to 2.7 is connected like this. So that means here this side I'm connecting a to the left side of this I'm connecting a keypad, to the right side of microcontroller I'm connecting a LCD display. So this is what the basic program we are going to have. Okay. So next we should write the program. So before we write the program, what is so important is that we should first of all initialize the vertical columns of the port to higher order bits. So we first of all initialize, you should see that all these pins are going to be at an active high level. That means initially this VCC is connected to all the port to higher order pins. See, VCC is connected to D3, VCC is connected to D2, VCC is connected to D1 of port 2 higher order bits. So like this we have connected all the bits. That means initially it should be all ones. Sometimes what happens due to the errors or due to debouncing effects, okay, so the data may be there somewhere here, some key might have been pressed even though it is not nobody has pressed, but the data might have been there previously. So I want to refresh everything. I have to initialize my program. So how do I initialize the program? I have to ensure that all these higher order port 2 pins, all these higher order port 2 pins are going to be at active high. So that I have to ensure first. That is called initialization operation, known as init operation. So I'll say what now? Move P2 comma hash So we'll try to understand with the up to here code snippet. In the next session, we'll continue because it is going to be a very big program, because we are normally going to combine the keypad and the LCD together in order to understand this particular program very well. So first step is what now? I have to initialize the keypad. So first of all, initializing keypad means what? F0 is placed into P2. Means what? The higher order pins are important for us. I should ensure the higher order pins are always going to be with starting with ones. And next P0. P0 initialized, I'm initializing them to 0. I'm first of all initializing P0 to 0, because when one is connected to VCC, other one should be connected to the ground. So in that, with that logic, I go with this. Then this P2 is normally transferred to A accumulator. We use AND operation with contents of accumulator with this. What is F means? 1 1 1 1 4 ones. Single zero in hexadecimal means what? 4 zeros in binary. So I'll apply AND operation. If really A2 is having the same bit format, F0, F0 is normally done. AND operation. Result is going to be same. F0 only. F0 is stored in A. What is this operation or AND operation? AND means what? It performs logical AND of A with the operand. Result is stored in the accumulator. Then next is what? Uh, compare the two operands. Jump if not equal to 0. Once after these two are compared, what is the contents of A? Same thing, F0 only. F0 is compared with F0. When these two are compared, what is the result? 0. 0 flag will be set. Because once these two are compared, it is going to be same. So 0 flag is normally going to get set. So once 0 flag is set, means what? This condition is false. If 0 flag is not set, means what? Still the uh, lines on the port 2 higher order pins are not all zeros, are not all ones, not all active high. Since they are not active high, once again I go back, I reinitialize for active high values. Like this, I perform this code, I execute this code to initialize the keypad. We initialize the keypad. Then the keypad has to be scanned for vertical key. First of all, I sense the vertical key. Then I go for the horizontal key level. So scan for key press in the column. So before we go for that, always call a delay program. So some time is simply going to get wasted or invested doing nothing by the micro processor in the microcontroller unit. That means by the CPU. CPU does not do anything. It just waits until the keypad is going to get reset once again. So keypad for time has to be given for keypad to refresh. Okay. So for that purpose, we are doing this. Then move A comma P2. So what is that P2 is having? P2 is the column key pressed. Then same story once again. I'll do AND operation A with this. Now here same instructions are going to get repeated now. Compare jump if not 0. These two are now compared. Then the control goes to the, if it results into non-zero, then control goes to over. Otherwise, this is normally going to get repeated. Okay. That means if a key is really pressed, this condition is going to be true, because if really key is really pressed, that means one of the column bits will be equal to 1. When one of the column bit is equal to 1, what is that happens? What are the contents of A then? It is not going to be 1 1 1 1. It is going to be other than that. Okay. So when you compare those two, it is definitely going to be not 0. Non-zero value you will get. So this is condition true. Then control goes to over. That means key is pressed. If it is non-zero, key is pressed. So control comes to this particular part, and I wait for some delay. The time period, I just wait in the microcontroller program. Then P2 is copied to A, moved to A. Then what I'll do now, I want only higher order pins of port 2. Therefore, I want to mask the lower order pins of the port 2. So therefore, I use zeros for masking lower order pins of port 2. So I just use this now. Then next, I once again perform compare jump on non-zero with this particular thing. Okay. Now, what is so important here is you should know what is there in P2. What is there in P2? P2, I'm going to have, see, imagine that these bits are going to be D0, D1, D2, D3. So D3 side, the key is pressed. D3 side, the key is pressed. D3 side means what? Let us go back to the interfacing device, D3. Here the key is pressed. Here the key is pressed. When the key is pressed here, this key is lying on the row D3, column D3. That is what the stuff over here. So therefore here column is D3 column. D3 column is pressed. So since D3 column is pressed, it is going to become equal to 0 because of the key press on the column side. When you compare these two, because contents of A is not is equal to this, so the result is going to be non-zero value. So control goes to over 1. So in the over 1, what I'll be doing now? I'll be checking for the row. That means the checking with column has been completed. That means I'm repeating the same set of instructions. See, these 4 instructions are same as these instructions. Why I'm repeating it? Just for avoiding the debouncing of the key. To avoid debouncing of key, I'm going to repeat the same process. Nothing is going to happen here. I'm going to ensure that whatever key that has been pressed, it is the key that we are looking for. That's it. It is the key that the microcontroller is looking for. So after we ensure, the control goes to the next state. So now here we have to test the row. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll stop our session here. Please try to understand all these basic concepts in whatever that has been covered in the today's session. And once we know the basics of all these things perfectly, then we go for the actual program which we'll do at the row side. So please practice very well up to here. In the very beginning, what we are doing now, we are initializing the keypad. After initializing the keypad, we are scanning for the column key press, scanning for the key press in the column side. Then once again, we are repeating the same set of instructions to avoid the debouncing effect. And next, after we ensure that a particular key has been pressed on the column side, then we have to test on the row side. So testing row side we'll do in the next class, because testing row side, after that finding out the key, getting the particular let character, that character has to be transmitted to the LCD. So all this is a process which we have to do. So this particular program of testing the row and sending the data into the LCD we'll see in the next session. Thank you very much for today's session.